Hey, Daisan here with part 1 of the Cautious Hero event. This part will cover 4 units, 5 relics. This one's going to be a bit longer, so buckle up. The first unit we're going to cover is Seiya, the Cautious Hero himself. He is a power attacker with a very mixed physical and damage skill set. His first skill is a single target fire magic attack that costs 3 MP. That's pretty basic. His second skill is a self buff of all stats for 25% for 2 MP that lasts 3 turns. His last skill is an AoE magic fire attack for 5 MP. His first passive is a 30% bonus EXP for himself, makes leveling a lot easier for him, while his second passive makes up for the fact that his first passive does nothing in combat by giving a 10% boost to all his stats. His overdrive is a single target physical fire attack that shreds the defense by 30% for 3 turns. His skill set is very similar to Lena's and Samurai Demiurge, both having a single target 3 MP attack and a 5 MP AoE. Both fire while one is magical and the other is physical. Seiya has physical normal attacks and overdrive, while magic skills, making some relics a lot less optimal on him compared to the other 2 units. He is tankier than both of them with more HP and defense, but is much slower than them. He's stronger than Lena attack-wise, but not as much so than Samurai Demiurge. Tier-wise, he sits right next to Samurai Demi. He hits a bit harder than Lena, magically skill-wise, and has better stats than her besides speed. Pretty decent farming fire unit. Relic wise, things like Mighty Warrior and Warrior vs Hero are good for him. Things that give him large attack and multiple type attack boosts are also really good for him as well. The next unit we're going to look at is Adenala. She is a speed attacker, very similar to Halloween Aura. Her skills are a single target attack that lowers the enemy's hit by 1, a buff that gives 40% physical attack and evasion by 1, and her last skill is a 5-hit physical attack. Her passives are 10% physical attack up and 5% speed up. The overdrive is kinda sad, being just a single target attack that does nothing else. Her kit is really interesting, which lets her fit in evasion teams with the hit and evade buffs in her kit, but realistically her third skill is where all the money is at. It is a multi-hit skill that can rack up some serious damage, similar to skills like Aura's Dancing Whip and Shizu's 5-hit multi-skill that can go up to 7. But compared to Halloween Aura, it comes very close to doing almost the same amount of damage, but it falls off a bit. It's due to Aura's higher percentages on her attack. Stat-wise, she's a bit better, but they seem to be very comparable as units, and they both fit into S tier. Next, we're going to look at Risler. She is a intelligence healer. Her first skill is a undead killer skill for 3 MP. Her second skill is a team-wide physical damage reduction of 25% for 3 turns, costing 3 MP. And the last skill is a simple 3 MP heal for 5850 HP. Her passives are a 10% physical and magic defense up and a 5% speed up. Her overdrive is a AoE heal for 7020 HP, which also gives 3 turns of health regen, attack, and defense buff. Overall, it is nice to have another 3 MP healer at 5 stars. Her stats are really good compared to the other 5-star healer pool, not only really losing to Nazarick Loop and Rem, plus some Alakis in a few stats. Her overdrive is really nice healing, pretty much taking care of your whole team while you worry about your mana costs, but it's not bad seeing as the heal is only 3 MP. Overall, I feel that she is very similar to Rem, and I would put both of them on the same tier just because the overdrive is much better healing wise, but she doesn't have the HP regen over time. The heal is a bit weaker, but I feel that it's still stronger than all the other 4 MP heals. She has strong stats, good passives, decent skills. I'd say, yeah, S tier for sure. The last unit we're going to look at is Valkyrie. She is a power enchanter. Her first skill is probably her best skill, being a 3 MP AoE buff that boosts attack by 20% and critical by 16. Her second skill is a 3 MP single target buff, gives 35% physical attack, 20% defense, 25% speed. Last skill is a single target attack that lowers the enemy defense by 15%. Passives are 10% physical attack and 5% speed up. The overdrive is a single target attack with a paralysis and seal chance. Valkyrie is pretty much a stronger Lacus stat-wise. It has a cheaper buff at 3 MP over 4 MP, but has less attack on it. Doesn't have a heal, but it has much more mana conservative skills overall. Rhea does a decent job as a buffer, but not that much better than Lacus overall, so they are both very similar and fall into A tier. Now, looking at the 4 units, I'd say all of them are fundamentally good units to pull on new accounts. They do fulfill some similar roles to past units, but for people who don't have some of the past units, I'd say maybe pull for them. All really solid at S tier and like 1 A tier, so I'd definitely just give these banners a shot. Now, we're moving on to Relics first. The first one we're going to look at is Heroes and Immortals Are Too Cautious. It is the 5-star event relic that has a wide stat distribution. Its passives give 10% attack and EXP gain and 5% speed. Out of all the EXP relics, I would say this one would be the best of the bunch. A much better stat spread than the current best EXP relic, Momonga versus the Floor Guardians. This kind of bumps the other ones down and leaves that at A tier by itself. The next relic are from the banners, and they are all 4 stars. The first one is Emergency Evacuation. It has a wide stat spread and is comparable to multiple buffs, a similar 4-star relic. It has 15% defense up and the same evade buff as it as well. I would say it's a step up because it actually gives defensive stats for a defensive relic, and it's pretty much also like a much watered down version of Sadistic Eyes. Next relic is Megamik Full Power. It gives a 10% magical attack and defense passive. This passive actually is on par with some of the 5-star versions of this passive. It has a defensive stat spread, giving a large HP boost, small defense boost, and some speed. It's like the best defensive relic of the bunch compared to relics like Elder Lich Corpse and Life in Another World with the Immortal King. While the other two have attack on the relic, this one invests all into being better for tanks and healers, or even keeping fewer attackers alive who would want the 10% magical attack up. The third relic is Final Destructive Technique. This relic is kind of a lesser version than Tanya's Borrowed Cat relic. It only gives physical boost instead of the universal coverage of physical and magical damage up and skill damage up overall. So it's not as like good generically. It also comes with a 30% defense down penalty. The stats it gives is less in speed and a lot less in attack than Borrowed Cat, but as a 4-star relic, it's not bad, but it makes you very frail. The last relic is Constricted. It's an intimacy relic, like the Data Live relics. It is a good pick for sure if you miss the Data Live relics, and it gives good physical attack buff and speed boost. Pretty good attack spread, a bit lower than Deadly Sniper, but it's a 4-star, it's nice, it's a bit toned down, and has intimacy up, so it's always good to grind all your intimacy units up. Besides that, I'd say all 5 relics, most of them are pretty decent. Like I said, not a bad place to start if you're new to Master of the Dead JP. Besides that, thanks for slocking through this video with me, and come check out part 2 of the video when it comes out. Thanks for watching.